This is the exciting Peugeot 408, and the Germans really do need to pay attention. Stay with me and we'll find out why.
Firstly, it is half the price of anything decent that's German. And before you think that means you're getting half the car, I can tell you now, you're not. In fact, you might even be getting more. This could be Germany's worst nightmare.
I've described this car in the past as a showstopper, and what I mean by that is it's the sort of car that is so good looking, it is so advanced and ahead of its time that I am a little bit apprehensive about parking it anywhere. And it's been years since I've been in that situation.
And this is the first plug-in hybrid that has made me actually understand what the point of them actually is, or more importantly, made me want to get one.
Size-wise, just to give you an idea, it's a little bit longer than a 3 Series. It feels a lot bigger, feels a lot higher, and it's got a very slightly raised driving position, so you can get in and out a bit easier.
Bonjour.
1.2 petrol or 1.6 petrol and hybrid engines. The 1.2 petrol has 130 horsepower. This one 180 to 225. There's obviously 2 versions. I know I'm spending your money, but I would go for the plug-in hybrid. It's the first time I've ever said it, but it is really good. Don't get bogged down on 0 to 60 and power and that, because the couple of things, it doesn't really matter today. And secondly, this only weighs 1,300 kilograms, and that isn't very much. I mean, you probably squat that, right? One thing that is very interesting is the technology for the sort of semi-autonomous braking. So if you detect an accident, your foot will touch the brake at a faster rate than normal. And if you do that, the car immediately takes over. And it's very scary. So what I'm going to do is just, instead of braking, I'm going to pretend that I'm braking fast, but I'm not going to put any pressure on the pedal. You see? It takes over. Saves you. Talk you through some of the controls. This is all of your voice stuff and track advanced volume, and over here is your adaptive cruise, which I mentioned. There's some paddles for you to change gear, and then over here is your wireless charging slot, which is nice and hidden away. I've just started the car, so now you can see the i-Cockpit, which I think is very nice. Apple and Android over here, which of course is wireless, and they've kept, thank heavens, they have kept these buttons, almost this, I call them piano buttons. They're not piano buttons, but I think they're nice. They feel great. This volume feels great. And then of course you've got these digital controls for all of your hotkeys. And what's interesting is when you're actually in Spotify and you want to come out of Spotify, it allows you to do that with one click. Some cars are a little bit complicated. This isn't. Generally, I think this is one of the nicest cockpits that there is on the market. Very clever roofline actually, because normally these types of cars have a roofline that goes down slopes at the back. This is clever because it doesn't. It's exactly the same all the way along, which means you can take adults with you. Quality in the back here is really good. These seats, I would call these seats plush. This, is it leather? It's not leather, but it feels nice. Leatherette cup holder, and I think while we're in the back with this light coming in, you can actually see the detail on these seats. Like a smart suit, that, like a pair of trousers. Pair of trousers and a jacket, that is. What I also like is the way that the engine comes in on the hybrid system imperceptibly. So 8 miles an hour, 12. You cannot feel anything. It must, I'm going to do it again. It must, all right, I'm going to really try and see if I can feel a vibration. So we're in a hybrid electric mode. So you'd obviously plug this in a bit, but it's got an engine, so it's not an electric car. Electric. $14. There you go, it's on now, 26 miles an hour. Unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Charging is a choice. Without charging, you'll still get the benefits of the silent driving and 51 miles to the gallon. The charging thing just means you get more than 51 miles to the gallon. And if your boss gets you one, you'll only pay from £53 a month on company car tax.
Let's talk about money then for a moment. This is the money bit from the very famous Leasing.com. You can get all the deals there. This is the 1.2 version, £411 a month, 3,700 advance rental, £423 a month. There we are. Don't be put off by the word leasing, by the way, because essentially we're all leasing. Even if we're doing a PCP, it's a form of lease, isn't it?
It is. And I know what you're thinking. For that kind of monthly payment, I probably could get something German. Maybe, but then you wouldn't get one of these, which is a spaceship.
Okay, Peugeot, drive me to London.
Navigating to London.
Yeah, it has that too. The engineering is brilliant. Even the opening and closing of the windows, the sound that the door makes when it closes, there's a reassuring thud. For instance, this little storage area is damped very well. You could almost go as far as to say this is Audi level of quality. And did I also mention it's quiet?
Inside the car, there is a sense of futurism, yet it doesn't feel experimental. The driving assistance systems work very well and are accurate. There's 3D digital instruments, night vision, and you can add an expensive sunroof and very good stereo if you want to. For originality and beating conventional driving as a thing, this is a 5-star achievement.
The problem is, with that sunroof, it only comes on the GT models, which means you have to spend more money before you can even put it on. And the same applies to the decent sound system, which is a shame because you should be able to put a sunroof on any car that you spec up, or a sound system.
With the consumer honesty bit out the way, time now for some more praise.
Like all Peugeots, this is a very light feeling car. However, unlike Peugeots that I've tried before, this does not do any wallowing about business. So if I change direction, there's a fraction of body roll, but there's none of that C6 stuff. In the right light and on the right day, the back of this car looks a little bit like a BMW X6. It does a bit. When you come out of a corner, it actually feels like, even though it's front wheel drive, it feels like the power is coming from the rear. Another clever bit of technology there. The cockpit design and the way that this steering wheel almost feels to sit in your lap. Flat at the top, angles at the sides, flat again at the bottom. Does this or does this not have the best looking side profile of any car for this money? And you get a very special feel to the inside of the cockpit. This door card, for instance, the way that feels, the leather on the steering wheel, the seat that you're sitting in with its extra support and knee system. Yeah. Top 3 time. So I'm going to say suspension is my first most favorite thing. I think it is pretty much perfect, firm, sporty, dynamic. Number 2, gonna have to go with the steering wheel. Cyclist there in the middle of the road. And number 3, the design. The design is so interesting because the amount of people that have said, "Oh, it's a nice car, mate," and I haven't heard that for ages. But people walk past this car and they go, "It's a nice car, mate." Normally, if you're in a nice car, it's like, you.
Fun individual. You must have worked extremely hard. Congratulations. And back to the question, should Germany pay attention? The answer is yes. This could be the next French Revolution.